My child, listen, not with your ears, but with the deepest, most quiet part of your spirit that has been waiting, aching for a sound like this. This is not a broadcast. This is not a general word sent out into the void for anyone to catch. This is a breath, spoken in the secret place, meant to find its way through the noise and land only on you. I am speaking to you now. I have pulled you aside for this moment, because this moment, this very one where your heart feels both heavy and strangely alert, is the moment I appointed long ago. You did not stumble here by accident. You were guided here by a hand you thought had let you go. You are here because I have something to say that your soul cannot live without hearing. My beloved, I know the weight you carry. I have measured it. I have felt its contours in the silent watches of the night when you thought you were utterly alone. That ache in your chest, the one you try to breathe around, I put my hand there now. The loneliness that isn't about being physically alone, but about being misunderstood, being unseen in the truest parts of who you are. I am filling that space with my presence as you hear these words. The confusion, the endless questioning of, why has it taken so long? I am here to settle that storm. This delay was not your downfall. It was not a sign of my displeasure or your unworthiness. This has been, from the very beginning, a sacred setup. Every closed door that made you weep, every hope that dissolved in your hands, every season that ended not with celebration, but with a quiet, desperate sigh. I was there. I was not just observing, I was orchestrating. You have felt forgotten. You have watched others move on, celebrate, ascend, while you remained in a place of waiting that felt suspiciously like punishment. You have asked me, in tears and in anger, in whispers and in silent screams, have you forgotten me? Did you choose me only to leave me here? My child, hear me. You were never more chosen than in those moments of silence. You were never more on my mind than when you felt most abandoned by my hand. This depth of feeling, this sensitivity that the world has told you is too much, is the very frequency of your heart that I tune to hear my voice. They said you were too emotional, too deep, too complicated. But I made you that way so you could feel the tremors of the shift I am about to bring, so you could comprehend the weight of the glory I am about to reveal. I saw the nights you cried yourself to sleep, staining your pillow with questions. I collected every tear. I did not waste a single one. Each one was a prayer I stored, a sacred offering that has built an altar in the spirit realm from which your answer is now arising. You thought your tears were a sign of weakness, of failure. They were the seeds. You have been in a season of hidden planting, of burial, and you mistook it for a grave. It was a womb. The pressure, the darkness, the feeling of being covered over, it was not to destroy you. It was to develop in you a life so resilient, so anointed, so unshakable, that when you emerge, nothing and no one will be able to take from you what I give. You stayed quiet when you could have fought back. You turned the other cheek when you could have exposed and shamed. You chose silence over revenge, and in that silence, you gave me the room to fight for you. You felt that silence was costing you your reputation, your dignity. But it was in that silence that I was forging your true identity. While they whispered, I was amplifying your name in the halls of heaven. While they plotted, I was plotting your victory. While they counted you out, I was counting down the days until this appointed time. This is that time. The hour is upon you. The season of hiddenness is concluding not with a whimper, but with a divine roar that will shake every wrong structure in your life. The pain you carry has a purpose. The waiting has an expiration date. The loneliness was never meant to be your permanent address. It was my private workshop, where I rebuilt you without the opinions, the influences, the distractions of those who were never meant to go where I am taking you. So, my cherished one, take a deep breath. The air is changing. Can you feel it? The atmospheric pressure in your spirit is shifting. What felt stuck is beginning to loosen. What felt dead is stirring with a latent, irresistible life. You are coming out, not as you were, broken and pleading for validation, but as you are, forged by my fire, polished by my patience, and authorized by my sovereignty. This is your appointed time, and it starts now with this knowing, this awakening, this first divine touch upon a heart that has waited so faithfully for its moment to begin. I have more to say to you. Rest here in this certainty. My beloved, listen closely. We are still here in this quiet space I have made for us. Before we move forward, I must address the wound that you have carried in silence, the one you have tried so hard to forgive, to forget, to rationalize away. I must speak to the betrayal, not to reopen the hurt, but to show you the surgery my hand performed in that very cut. I saw them. I saw every one. The friend who stood close, whose smile never reached their eyes when they spoke of your dreams. The family member who offered help with one hand while secretly loosening the foundations beneath your feet with the other. The colleague, the partner, the confidant, the one who swore loyalty in the light but held meetings in the dark, their words weaving a narrative meant to cage you in a story of lack and limitation. You knew. In your spirit, you felt the subtle shift, the cooling of their affection, the strange absence when your need was greatest. You questioned your own perception. You called yourself paranoid, too sensitive, broken from past hurts. You made excuses for them because the truth was too devastating to hold. My child, that sensitivity was not paranoia. It was my spirit within you, sounding an alarm. I was showing you what was hidden, not to torment you, but to prepare you. I was separating you even then from voices that would have contaminated the pure calling I have placed upon your life. They spoke against you in secret, in boardrooms and living rooms, over phone calls and text messages. They labeled your patience as passivity. They called your devotion delusion. They framed your season of waiting as a testament to your unworthiness. And you felt the vibrations of those words in your spirit, like a foul wind, even when you couldn't hear them with your ears. They thought you would never rise. They believed the delays were proof of my abandonment of you. They banked on your downfall, convinced that the doors closing in your face were the final verdict on your destiny. They misread my protection as your punishment. And when you were silent, when you did not retaliate, when you did not launch a campaign to clear your name, they mistook your holy restraint for weakness. They thought they had won. They believed they had successfully blocked you from your purpose. What they did not understand, what they could never comprehend, is that you were operating under a divine mandate of silence. That silence was not your surrender. It was your strategy, ordained by me. I asked you to hold your peace, even when every fiber of your being screamed for justice. I asked you to stand still, even as they moved against you. It was the hardest test. To see the wrong and not be permitted to right it. To watch the lie gain traction and not be allowed to publish the truth. You felt complicit in your own downfall. You felt like you were failing to defend the destiny I gave you. But my beloved, in that obedience, in that brutal, costly, tear-soaked obedience, you gave me the complete legal and spiritual right to fight for you. You stepped off the battlefield of human reputation and stepped into the courtroom of heaven. And there, I tried your case. I heard every whispered accusation. I subpoenaed every false witness. I entered every secret conversation as evidence, and I have rendered a verdict in your favor. Those closed doors they celebrated, I closed them. I barred them, because what was behind them was not your blessing, but a beautifully wrapped trap. The relationships that dissolved in confusion and pain, I loosened those cords. For the hands that appeared to be helping were, in truth, assigned to hold you back, to keep you in a place small enough for them to feel comfortable. The opportunities that vanished, I vaporized them, because they would have required you to compromise the very core of who I made you to be. You were not being blocked from your destiny, my child. You were being shielded from cheap, counterfeit versions of it that would have permanently derailed you. Every no you heard was my yes to something infinitely greater. Every betrayal was a brutal but necessary extraction. I saw the nights you wrestled with the urge to expose them, to tell your side, to unleash the fury of your pain. I saw you bite your tongue until it bled. I saw you swallow your words like shards of glass. And in that sacred, painful restraint, you were being perfected. You were learning the weight of true authority, the kind that does not need to scream to be heard, the kind that is so sure of its source, it can afford to be silent. You were being weaned from the need for human validation. You were learning to draw your worth, your identity, your very breath from me alone. That season of betrayal was not a sign that I had left you unprotected. It was the ultimate proof of my protection. I allowed you to see the true nature of certain hearts so you would be free, so you would never be bound to the opinions of those I did not appoint for your future. The pain of their departure was the anesthesia for a necessary surgery. Now, the healing is complete. The scar is a testament not to what was taken, but to what was removed to save your life. Now, my beloved, come deeper with me. Let us speak of the wilderness itself, not the people who left you there, but the ground upon which you have stood, seemingly barren for so long. This is the part of the story you have misunderstood the most. You have called it the waiting place. I call it the forging ground. You have labeled it a delay. I have named it a divine protection. Every single moment of what felt like stillness, like stagnation, like life passing you by, has been charged with a purposeful, holy activity invisible to your eyes. The isolation was not a prison sentence. It was my private workshop. The silence was not abandonment. It was my method of amplification, turning down the world's noise so you could finally learn the distinct sound of my voice. I needed you away. I needed you removed from the chatter, the well-meaning but misdirected advice, the endless opinions of a world that knows nothing of the destiny I have etched upon your spirit. In the crowd, you were becoming who they needed you to be. In the isolation, I have been restoring who I created you to be. Those empty spaces, those calendars that held no invitations, those days that blurred into one another with a monotonous ache, they were not empty. They were filled with my presence. I was the companion in your loneliness. I was the conversation in your silence. I was rebuilding you from the inside out, stripping away every identity that was sourced in what you did, who you knew, or how you were perceived. I was reducing you to your raw, essential self, my child. Nothing more, nothing less. And in that bare, holy place, a foundation was laid that no future storm can shake. The doors that closed did not lead to your promised land. They led to smaller rooms, beautiful perhaps, but cages nonetheless. I closed them because I love you too much to let you settle for a life that is less than the one I dreamed for you before time began. You wept at those thresholds, believing you were losing your only chances. You did not know I was a God of infinite doors. You thought those were the only ones. I let you weep, because the death of that lesser dream was necessary for the birth of the greater one. Your grief was holy. It was the fertilizer for the new thing I am now sprouting in the very soil of your disappointment. The financial constriction, the creative dryness, the relational drought, you interpreted these as signs of my displeasure. You believed the lie that abundance is always a sign of favor and lack a sign of punishment. My ways are not your ways. I was teaching you to draw sustenance from me alone. I was severing every umbilical cord to earthly sources, so you would know, with a bone-deep certainty, that I am your provider. Not your job, not your client, not your investment. Me. In that place of seeming lack, you were developing spiritual muscle you could have gained nowhere else. You learned to trust in the dark what I told you in the light. That is the unshakable faith upon which empires of destiny are built. The loneliness served a holy purpose. It filtered out every voice but mine. It made you a keen listener, a discerning heart. In the absence of human applause, you began to hear the faint, steady rhythm of my approval, and it became enough. It became everything. I was making you allergic to superficial connections and thirsty for covenant. I was preparing you for the weight of genuine relationships that are coming, relationships that will be based in destiny, not in convenience or need. The people I removed were not bad people. They were simply not your people for this next, most sacred leg of the journey. Their assignment in your life was complete. Their presence in your future would have been a limitation. My protection often feels like loss, until you see the greater gain from the higher view. You have felt hidden, yes, buried, unseen. But my child, the greatest treasures are always hidden for a season. The most powerful seeds must be buried before they break open into life. The most strategic weapons are kept in secret until the precise moment of battle. This has been your hidden preparation. While you felt forgotten by the world, I was introducing you to heavenly counsels. While your name was not on any guest list, I was inscribing it on pillars in my kingdom. The spiritual strengthening that has happened in this season of isolation is monumental. You have gained territory in the spirit that will now manifest in the natural. The patience you wrestled into your character is now the platform for profound authority. The peace you fought for in the midst of confusion is now your governing weapon. This was never a punishment. It was a positioning, a severe mercy. I was protecting you from a blessing you were not yet ready to handle, and preparing you for a blessing that will not destroy you. The delays were divine detours, routing you around ambushes and landmines laid by the enemy of your soul. You saw a blocked road. I saw a collapsed bridge ahead that you could not see. Your frustration was my fencing. Your confusion was my covering. You have been under the shadow of my hand, being uniquely fashioned for a time such as this. The preparation is complete. The hidden season is reaching its divine expiration. The soil of your heart, once hard and dry from disappointment, has been broken up by tears and softened by waiting. It is now fertile, ready to receive the rain of my promise. The foundation is laid, the character is forged, the healing is sealed. You are ready, and so the shift begins. Now, my beloved, lean in. The whisper becomes a declaration. The stillness breaks with the first tremor of dawn. What I speak next is not a distant promise for someday. It is a present tense decree, already in motion in the realm where I orchestrate all things. The shift is here. The long prophesied reversal is no longer approaching, it is arriving. At this very moment, as these words find your spirit, gears of divine machinery are engaging. Watches set to heaven's time are chiming your hour. The season of unveiling has begun. Feel it. That quickening in your chest is not anxiety. It is the resonance of alignment. It is the spiritual gravity of your destiny finally pulling you into its orbit. The doors that have been sealed shut are now vibrating on their hinges. Not one, but many. And they will open not with the slow, hesitant creak of human effort, but with a sudden, effortless swing of my sovereign command. What was locked will swing wide. What was denied will be presented on a platter you did not prepare. Opportunities will find you. Favor will meet you in the street. Connections will be made in ways that bear the undeniable fingerprint of my hand, leaving no room for the lie that you engineered this yourself. This is my doing, and it will be marvelous in your eyes. I am reversing the narrative, publicly. The very situations, the very relationships, the very arenas where you were misjudged, underestimated, or forgotten are about to become the stage for your vindication. I am not a God who vindicates in secret. I restore in the sight of those who watched you struggle. Those who whispered will now have to speak your name with reverence. Those who wrote you off will have to consult you. Those who tried to block you will find themselves either blessing you or being bypassed entirely. The same mouths that spoke lack over you will utter astonishment. The same eyes that looked past you will widen in recognition. Do not seek this. Do not thirst for it. It is simply the inevitable byproduct of my glory resting upon a life that has been prepared in the hidden place. Your reputation is in my hands, and I am about to restore it with such overwhelming public evidence that the old story will be rendered unbelievable. The suddenness will startle you. You have been conditioned by the long wait to expect a slow, arduous climb, but I am not limited to your timelines. I specialize in suddenlies. In one day, one conversation, one letter, one phone call, the landscape of your life will change. A provision will come from a source you had given up on. A healing will manifest in a body part you had learned to live with in pain. A reconciliation will occur where you had made peace with the loss. This is the sudden shift I ordained. It will feel like spring after a long, hard winter. The thaw is rapid. The bloom is explosive. You will look back at this moment and mark it as the turning point. The elevation is not just for you. It is for a purpose that transcends you. You are being positioned on a platform you did not build, so that your story becomes a beacon. Your testimony of long suffering and sudden breakthrough will become a roadmap for others lost in their own wilderness. The very sensitivity the world scorned will become your greatest ministry. The pain you carried will become your most profound credential to speak life to the broken. You will not speak from theory. You will speak from the ashes you have left behind, now glowing with the fire of my spirit. Do not be alarmed by the speed. Do not fear the new weight of authority. You have been strengthened for this in the dark. The muscles of trust you built when you had nothing but my word are more than capable of bearing the weight of the abundance I now release. The humility you learned in obscurity will anchor you in prominence. The peace you forged in battle will govern you in victory. You are not stepping into a new season as the same person who entered the long night. You are emerging as a prepared ruler, a seasoned peacemaker, an anointed vessel, tempered and ready. The no you heard for so long is now becoming a thundering yes. The dream you almost let die is stirring, not as a fragile hope, but as a living, breathing reality taking its first breath. The call you doubted was yours is now ringing clear and undeniable. This is the reversal. The first are becoming last, and the last, you, my patient one, are being placed first. The narrative is flipping before your very eyes. What was meant to silence you is about to amplify you. What was meant to bury you has only served to plant you. Now, watch the bloom. The wait is over. The shift is now. Breathe it in. The air has changed. It is the air of your appointed time. Now, my beloved, rest here. Breathe deeply. The tremors of the shift are settling into a new, unshakable foundation beneath your feet. This is not a temporary gust of wind, but a permanent change in climate. We move now from the stunning reversal to the profound restoration. I am not merely giving you back what was lost. I am initiating a multiplication of all that was stolen, broken, or delayed. This is the season of overflow, where the years the locusts have eaten are not just returned, but repaid with abundant, undeniable interest. The peace you are beginning to feel is not the calm after the storm, but the native atmosphere of the new land I am giving you. The restoration is first and foremost internal. I am healing the last vestiges of orphanhood from your spirit, that quiet feeling that you must hustle, earn, or strive to stay in my good graces. That ends now. You will move with the unforced rhythm of a beloved child who knows their place at the table is guaranteed. The anxiety that once guarded your heart will be replaced by a settled certainty so deep it will feel like a new instinct. You will make decisions not from a place of lack or fear, but from a place of divine surplus and holy confidence. The not enough narrative that haunted you, not enough time, not enough money, not enough love, not enough skill, is being scrubbed from the walls of your soul by my own hand. You will know from the core of your being that I am more than enough, and because you are in me, you are more than enough for every assignment, every relationship, every challenge ahead. The abundance I release is holistic. It will touch your mind, your body, your spirit, your finances, your relationships. It will be evident. The creativity that felt blocked will become a river, and ideas will come with such clarity and grace, it will feel like remembering rather than striving. The physical weariness from the long burden will lift. Energy you thought was gone for good will return, and you will move through your days with a vitality that testifies to my restorative power. But hear this clearly. The financial and material provision is not the goal. It is the tool. It is the resource for the greater work. It is the fuel for the destiny I have shown you in glimpses. It will come to steward, to build, to bless, to break chains, not just for you, but for generations tied to your obedience. This is the profound ripple effect of your faithfulness. Your breakthrough is a corporate event. Your vindication is a family inheritance. Your peace will become a sanctuary for others. Those connected to you, your children, your true spiritual family, even those I will strategically place in your path, will be lifted by the rising tide of my favor upon your life. The blessing is not a solitary crown, it is a canopy, offering shade and shelter to those I assign to you. The people I am now bringing are not takers, they are divine allies, co-builders, covenant partners who have also been prepared in their own hidden places. They will recognize the same fire in you that burns in them. The loneliness of the past has permanently sanctified your discernment for these connections. You will know them by their spirit, and you will be for each other a source of strength, not drain. Your identity is now being publicly ratified. You will no longer have to explain who you are or what you carry. Your very presence will announce it. The authority you walk in will be quiet but unmistakable. Doors will open not because you push, but because you approach. Mountains of opposition will level not by your frantic effort, but by your spoken decree, backed by the authority forged in the fire of surrender. You are stepping into a role of a reconciler, a restorer of ruins, a peacemaker in places of chaos. The wisdom you gain through suffering is now a precious commodity in a world hungry for truth. You will speak, and hearts will mend. You will extend your hand, and systems of lack will reverse. This restoration includes your joy. Not a fleeting happiness based on circumstance, but a joy that is your birthright and your fortress. It will rise from within you, a wellspring that circumstances cannot pollute. You will laugh again, a deep, free laughter that comes from the absolute knowing that I am good, and my plans for you are good. The heaviness you carried for so long as a cloak will be lifted, and you will move with a lightness that will astound you. You are not just being restored to a previous version of yourself. Amen.